welcome back to the Thunder and Lightning Gaming News Podcast. And holy shit, what a news week it was. My name is Thunder.
And I'm Lightning. Thunder.
Yes.
How was your week?
It was great. I talked about Psychonauts 2, correct? I talked all about that and how I was obsessed with it, and I 100%ed it in like 3 days. Essentially, ever since I stopped playing that, ever since we got back from Comic-Con, I've been playing Assassin's Creed 2. As we all know, there's like 25 Assassin's Creed games. And the first Assassin's Creed game is, of course, Assassin's Creed. But the first Assassin's Creed game that anyone gave a shit about, because it wasn't a terrible video game, was Assassin's Creed 2.
Ooh, Pauline would fight you.
She likes the first Assassin's Creed game?
I don't know. I didn't expect you to say 2. I thought you were going to say, like, a million games later.
No.
Because I know Pauline
sequel.
loves Assassin's Creed.
She probably, I'm projecting, but she probably loves 2.
Yeah, okay.
2 literally got a trilogy. Like, it was Assassin's Creed 1, and then Assassin's Creed 2, and then 2 sequels to that, and then Assassin's Creed 3. So we stayed in Italy with one dude for 3 games. And they, a couple years ago, released a re-release called the Ezio Collection. That's the dude's name. So I bought that on PS5. Not because it was on sale, but because I wanted to. I was just like really in the mood to play an old Assassin's Creed game. Because new Assassin's Creed games are good, but they are not the series that we've are left with so far is not the series that started. You can see some of the DNA, of course, but this game is just, and listen, it's old, it's kind of janky, I feel like this is definitely like Red Dead Redemption 1 era, where it's like, it was good when it came out, and it's still good now, but it's kind of a little rough to play.
Okay.
But I still really like it. What Ubisoft did, I've really never seen this before, ever. But what Ubisoft has done is they told this character's entire story. You start Assassin's Creed 2, you watch him get born, and then when you start playing as him, he's 18 years old. And then when you finish playing as him in Revelations, he's like 60, 70 years old. And then there's a movie that is also part of the collection I bought, and you watch him die in that movie. You literally see his entire life.
Wow.
And it's just... It's a level of storytelling that could only happen in the medium of video games,
Yeah.
And does Assassin's Creed hold up? Not to its grandchildren, but just on the basis of it being a really good game to play, I think it really does. Like, I'm having fun. Recently, I played Far Cry 3 for the first time since it came out in, I think it was 2012 that game came out. And I really found myself not enjoying it and kind of making new, less than ideal memories with Far Cry 3. And I was like, I'm going to stop playing this game. I think it's old, and I'm not gelling with it. Assassin's Creed 2 is old, but I am gelling with it. I like it a lot. And I'd be lying if I said that the most impressive and interesting part of the game is the story. It's really good. So I've been playing that a bit, about probably halfway done with Assassin's Creed 2, and then I might jump right into Brotherhood. Depends on how I'm feeling, because there's other stuff I could be playing right now. I was watching my dad play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is the new one, the one about Vikings, and I was just like, something about it, I was just like, man, I haven't played 2 in a while. I want to play it again. And God knows I wasn't going to boot up my Xbox 360, so I just bought the remaster. I've also been playing, and this is not a conventional video game. This is a website that you have to pay for in order to play, but it's called Geo Guesser, and I think you would really like this game, and I want to play with you at some point. So here's how it works. You pick a map.
Okay.
And the map that I've been playing, the most popular one, is the world map, the entire world. And what it does is, using Google Street View, it drops you someplace on planet Earth. And using nothing but, the specific part of Street View you're looking at, you have to then open Google Maps and try and guess where you are. And that's the whole game.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So hold on. So they drop you somewhere.
anywhere on the world.
And you get to look around.
You get to move around too. You can move down the street, and you have to essentially use what the people look like, the languages that you can see on some of the buildings, because they blur out. Like sometimes there's like a street sign in front of you, but they'll blur it out because there's the answer, right? And they always blur out license plates because that's the easiest way to tell what country you're in.
Right.
But you really have to like I've been looking at things like that I didn't think I would be looking at. Like I've been looking at like architecture, like this couldn't be American. This looks like, and sometimes you'll just get fucked over. Like you'll be in the middle of a little Denmark and everything will look like Denmark, but you're really in Southern California.
That's
and stuff
crazy.
like that. The other day they put me in front of a resort in England, and I was able to guess. I was 9 yards away.
Wow.
Which I was very excited about. I was literally like on the other side of the street.
Wow.
I'm not. That being said, that's the most impressive thing I've done. I'm not great at it. It's 5 rounds, and you can get a possible 25,000 points. And I think the most I've gotten is 18,000.
Okay.
Which is not unimpressive. But I've never gotten a gold medal. I've never gotten like 22,000 or points or above.
You know what I thought you were gonna say this game was, which I was also really excited about.
Yeah.
I had 2 ideas about this game before you explained it all. And I'd really like either. I like the one you said. That's really cool. I like the ideas I had too. They drop you somewhere on Earth. You have to find your way back to your house.
Oh, okay.
And they drop you somewhere on Earth. Tell us what the historical event that happened here was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, there are user-submitted maps, and one of the maps was famous landmarks.
Yeah.
So, like, it dropped me at Stonehenge, and I was like, well, this is Stonehenge. But, like, you don't have to do the world. You could do, United States. You could do Italy if you wanted. There's a bunch of different maps. It's I don't know. It's really fun. There's a battle royale mode, which is interesting. What they do is there's 10 players going at once, and they drop you in a location, and you have essentially like 1 minute to determine where you are, and then you place your guess, and then at the end of the minute, they let you know how close you were. And if your guess is the farthest away, you get voted off. I mean, you get knocked out, and it keeps going like that.
I think we should do this as a one-off on the channel sometime.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's a lot of fun, and the reason I saw it was because I saw some Let's Players playing it. It's really fun to. Okay, I've talked about this before. There is a video game called Buzzy the Knowledge Bug Goes to the Zoo. He's one of the lesser-known Humongous Entertainment mascots. And it was one of those games like Putt-Putt where it was screens and you can click on stuff.
Yeah.
But they had a game mode called Find It. And it would show you a tiny little circle of one of the screens. And you had to, with only that, go find it. And I thought that was so much fun. And then they did that shit in Breath of the Wild. They were like, here's these 12 pictures. Go here and you'll reach a memory, but you can only do it by sight. That's kind of what it's reminding me of. Like, just you plop down, you're in the middle of suburban North Carolina, but you don't know that. For all you know, you could be in Edinburgh, and you're like, okay, what's going on? I'm looking around. Oh, there's an American stop sign. Okay, cool. So we're in America. It's just like, it's a lot more detective work than I thought it would be. Like, obviously, if you are as traveled as some individuals are, you could just drop down and be like, oh, we're in Naples. I know this place, Like, there's a certain level of, like, I know a lot about the world. That's why I'm good at this game. But if you don't know a lot about the world, I think the game is more fun because you have to use deduction to figure out where you are, essentially. And sometimes you get fucked over. Sometimes you're literally just on a highway with trees, and you could be in any northern state or Ireland, for all you know.
Right.
So it's fun.
Crazy.
It's fun, and it's super cheap. It was like $1.99 a month, but you had to pay for a year. So I paid it was like $22 or something, and I get to play for a year. So it was because when I heard you had to pay for it, I was like, oh, okay. But then it was like not expensive. I was like, oh, I'll do that, and I'm glad I did because it's very fun. I was they dropped me down in the middle of Venice the other day. No, it wasn't Venice because Venice doesn't have streets. I forget what city it was. It was a city in Italy, and one of the cars, you know those things for children where it's like it blocks out the sun.
Yeah.
It was one of those, but it had PJ Masks on it, and I was just like, ah, yes, not even no country is safe from the scourge of Disney and Nickelodeon children's programming. So yeah, that's what I've been playing: Assassin's Creed 2 and Geo Guesser, and they're both really fun. I have little complaints about both of them.
Cool.
What have you been up to?
Well, before any of that, Stop the Presses, Thunder and Lightning has made it onto speedrun.com.
Oh, speedrun.com. Yes, of course.
Via
I had no idea what you were saying.
Monsoon, aka Pauline. This channel, more specifically Pauline, is now third in the world for the game Return of the Obra Dinn.
For the 100% Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
category. Should be specific because there's a lot of tabs you could click without finding us. So
that's fair.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I was nervous submitting it because one, I stopped the timer way soon.
Yeah.
And that's on me. But if you look at their rules and regulations, they don't even care about the timer because of human error. They look at time codes in the video, which makes sense. And that's I can only assume that is why SGDQ runs are not valid on speedrun.com, which is something I've heard. But also, at one point during the run, it happened super quick. But Pauline kicked the
switch.
Yeah, and it got unplugged, and we went into no signal mode for a minute. And the reason I think we didn't run into an issue is because in the game, she stood completely still. You could see that we didn't mess with anything while we were, down. Because they were like, submit your run and wait 2 weeks to see if it happens. And it was like 3 days later.
Yeah.
So, no, exciting stuff. Very proud,
exciting.
Very proud of Pauline.
She's going to want to go for the gold. I know that. She's going to want to try again. She's already finding ways to trim the fat on her run.
And she is absolutely welcome to use our Twitch channel as a platform to do that.
Yeah. She got me excited because all three of us have goals for speedrunning that we'd like to do on the channel at one point. And she did hers, and very successfully did she do hers. And I really want to get back into Mario 64 speedrun mode.
Which is a far more contentious... Like, the Return of the Obra Dinn speedrun that we were doing had 2 entries. And I have a feeling that the Mario 64 speedrun that you're doing probably has over 100 at this point.
My goal isn't for gold. I'd like to make the top 10.
Okay.
Even that might be difficult, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. When you say top 10, I know what you mean. You probably mean like top 40 because I have a feeling top 10 is like seconds apart from each other.
Right.
But no, I that's cool. That I am down for that too. I also have, like you alluded to, I have a list of games that I might try and speedrun someday. Most of them, I'm not gonna lie, are Resident Evil games, but it's just what makes sense to me. Yeah. Oh, and I did actually do a speedrun on our channel.
Yeah, you
of
did.
Astro's Playroom. I always forget about Astro's Playroom. That I for a good week. I was obsessed with speedrunning it.
You should try and submit.
Yeah, now that I know it's how easy it is to submit stuff.
Yeah,
and we have a account on that site. Maybe I will.
It's also Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but that wasn't I wouldn't submit that because it wasn't I beat the game in, what was it, like 2 hours and 12 minutes?
Something like that.
I think the top speed run right now is like 43 minutes for the run I did. So it wouldn't even be worth it because I wasn't using speedrun tactics. I was using like that game mode that I was like the S rank tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I'm figuring that out. I'd like to do that. Besides that, we did putt putt,
We did.
which was fun.
By the time, nope, 2 days from now is when that'll air.
cool. Putt putt is
Or no, sorry, 1 day from now, tomorrow, when people are listening to this.
Oh, cool.
Tomorrow is when that'll air.
Putt putt is the only game on this channel right now that is YouTube exclusive.
Yeah.
So if you want to see us play putt putt, you have to watch it on YouTube. We do not stream putt putt, but that gets played in between the games that I play. And my next one is going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales, which
Yes.
I'm very excited about.
Yeah, that if you didn't already know this, we already have a playthrough of the first Spider-Man game from the Stone Ages, where we actually we were taking turns. I think we were doing one episode me, one episode you, and when we realized that was dumb, we just we and then we changed to the whole like I have a game, you have a game thing. We decided that Chris was gonna finish that one up. Yeah, more about Spider-Man later, but Spider-Man Miles Morales I think is going to be a good fit for Twitch, especially with what was just announced recently, especially with how short it is, because we notoriously don't do any of the side missions.
Right.
And like, even if we did all the side missions in Miles Morales, it would probably be like one extra stream.
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm excited.
Me too.
Make sure to upgrade your gadgets, because I forgot that was a thing, and I played the whole game with with level 1 gadgets, and then I beat the game and I upgraded a bunch of gadgets. I was like, oh, this is really cool, and then I shelved the game because I was done playing.
Right. This will be the first PS5 game I've ever played.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about the controller and the shape of it and the adaptive triggers and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like the I don't know, PS5 like and Sony they did like, I don't know. It's the whole reason Astro's Playroom exists, is to showcase how cool the controller is, you know? It's just an interesting little like we put a lot of work this time into the controller.
Right.
And I'm still a little salty that it's not the same design, that it's not a DualShock. But, you know, it has grown on me, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how I feel.
Yeah.
See how I like it. That'll be a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As far as the Let's Play, as far as the YouTube channel is concerned.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I believe our food is on the way.
Yes. Our food is on the way. So let's I think I know how I want to do this. So let's start news.
Sure.
If that's what we're ready for.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's two bits of news. One is super short. It's something I forgot to talk about last time. And then we have the Sony event. Sony talked about 18 games. We're going to talk about all of them briefly, except Rainbow Six Extraction, because I couldn't give a fucking shit about Rainbow Six. But real quick, I don't know how I was not made aware of this sooner, but at ONL, they announced 2 new characters for Nicktoons All-Star Brawl.
Oh.
Would you like to guess who they are?
All-Star Brawl. Is Hey Arnold up there already?
Helga is,
Okay.
but not Hey Arnold.
Okay.
Would you like a hint?
No.
Okay.
Timmy from Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay.
And it's old school stuff, right?
And new school stuff. There's some folks from Loud House in this.
Okay.
You know who both these characters are. I'll say that.
I'm going to say Timmy, and I'm going to say Mr. Krabs.
Okay. Mr. Krabs would be cool. That'd be a lot of SpongeBob characters. No, it's April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Cat Dog.
I thought Cat Dog was in it already. I was thinking Cat Dog, but I was like, oh well, Cat Dog's already up in there.
No, they announced them too at Gamescom. They also announced they showed off how gameplay is gonna work. It looks interesting. Like, it's obviously, every game like this has Smash Brothers to thank, but it looks different enough. They have like a heavy, medium, light attack system, and it's literally like light beats medium and stuff like that. Like, it seems like if you are attacking me with a medium attack and I am attacking you with a light attack, I am going to win. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it looked very interesting. It was one of those things where, like, a lot of words were said about how to control the characters and what each button does, and I was just like, this seems interesting. It seems different from Smash Brothers. I'm really not going to have an opinion until I have my hands on it.
Right.
But no, I mean, you're right. We're missing Fairly Odd Parents. We're missing Jimmy Neutron. We're missing a few things. And the game is coming out soon, not super soon. I think it's end of October, I think. If I remember correctly. I did not write that down. But, you and I were talking about how maybe because they're obviously not done announcing characters, maybe they'll announce the other two turtles, because right now I think it's just Leo and Michelangelo. But they kind of went the other way, which they announced April O'Neil, which is super weird because of all the things to get announced during Gamescom, April O'Neil was announced twice for 2 different games. She's going to be in this, and she's going to be in Shredder's Revenge.
Right. That I knew.
And it's like such a weird statistic that this character that is old it just so happened to have an opportunity to make an appearance in 2 different games, and they were announced the same week.
Right.
So yeah, I think you and I are gonna have to take a break here and then talk about the Sony press conference after we eat.
All right, sounds good. Stay tuned for that.
All right. Okay. Hello. I should mention briefly that it is Crash Bandicoot's 25th anniversary, and they released a video about that. They didn't announce a game. It's looking like they're probably going to announce a game today, the day that this podcast gets released. So we'll talk about that if it happens, obviously, but nothing to report there quite yet. So there was a Sony press event.
Yes.
And I don't know why Sony refuses to participate in E3, but
yeah, it's kind of what it's feeling like, huh?
This is clearly what they would have brought, and if they did, I think they, E3 is not a competition, but I think they would have won. If they brought this, because there's a lot that they talked about. So first of all, they start the press event with an announcement that honestly came out of nowhere. And that was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake.
So, this is a game I've always wanted to play. I never played PC games. I never owned an Xbox. I was never able to play this game. I am so excited. Did they say when it comes out?
No. They just showed the main villain,
yeah.
And I was like, I know him. And then they showed the words Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake. That's all we know.
That's awesome.
So this is not, because this confused me. So I looked it up. This is not Star Wars The Old Republic, which is the MMO that ended in, I think, 2017. This is the single-player, sort of D&D-inspired PC-only game. And I can only assume that when they say KOTOR Remake, they mean KOTOR and KOTOR 2.
Yeah.
Not just the first one. That'd be a little interesting, because why not? But that is exciting. I do own KOTOR. I played it a bit. I've never really gotten into it.
Yeah.
So
very exciting. I'm excited to finally get my hands on one of those games because it's part of Star Wars I've never really been able to do.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, as we all know, no longer canon because of the whole Disney thing.
Well, I think if they're remaking it, that might. No, they said only films and shows were technically canon right now.
Well, Jedi Fallen Order is canon. I know that.
Okay. So maybe this makes the assumption that it's canon because they're remaking it.
I don't know. That's a hard maybe. Because, like, literally when J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Turner, or whatever her name is.
Kennedy.
Not Kathleen Turner. Kathleen Kennedy, thank you. When they pulled the plug and they were like, everything EU is canon, is not canon, that even included the Star Wars MMO that was, like, going on at the time. Like, they were straight up, like, only the 6 movies until we say otherwise.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see what if they make a decision on that when that comes out. So they showed off a new Eve game. It's just called Project Eve right now. It looks incredible. No one's going to play it. They talked about Tiny Tina's Wonderland. This is the Borderlands spin-off that looked D&D based.
Right.
Yeah. It's still got guns. It's still a first-person shooter. And, like, I like that they did it this way because in the trailer, because it's narrated by Tiny Tina, because I can only assume she's the dungeon master, she says something along the lines of, like, oh, you're wondering why there's still guns in a medieval setting? Well, shut up. And I was like, okay, well, if you're going to do it, at least acknowledge it, which they did.
Right.
But I know that I'm not going to play this game now because of that.
Because of guns?
Because it's still a first-person shooter. Like, I don't know. I'm just so done with first-person shooters. And Borderlands was kind of the one that I was like, I'm good. And I really haven't played any yet. So I heard about this D&D spin-off, and I was like, that looks neat. And then it still got guns. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind. They talked about Forspoken. They showed this off a little bit like a year ago. What they showed off this time was that you start off in the modern day, and then she gets teleported to like a fantasy realm. It looks huge. It looks like super open world. It looks really cool. I hope that takes off because it definitely is seeming like one of those games that we hear about and then it comes out and no one ever talks about it.
Right.
So I'm excited to hear more about that. Next up, rumored earlier in the week but officially announced at the Sony event is the Alan Wake remastered. Alan Wake is an old, say 2009, 2010 detective/horror game that got shot to all copyright hell because of the music they used in it, so they had to pull it from digital and physical storefronts. So that's coming back. I saw the screenshots. It does not look remastered. It looks remade. It looks incredible.
Oh, wow.
I'm really excited for that. I think you would like Alan Wake. He's a writer. He's like essentially Stephen King, but then his like the books that he's writing sort of come to life. That's like they don't, but they like sort of do. It's interesting. And there's like, you're trapped in like a weird Silent Hill world and there's a mystery to solve. The next game that they announced is, I shit you not, Grand Theft Auto 5, which came out in 2013.
Are they still doing stuff for that?
Yeah, they're porting it to PS5.
Oh, great.
And it's if you buy it and if you had an account, you get money for it or whatever.
I have I have Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3.
Yeah. Do you want to know why you have Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3? Because it came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, when it came to PS4, it was a port of a PS3 game. And now it's coming to, like, is there that much of a fan base still that are going to care enough now to buy it again? And the other thing is, like, if the answer is, oh, well, people play online, GTA Online has been delayed until way after Grand Theft Auto 5 actually comes to PS5. So
right.
I don't know what's going on with that. I really don't know why I'm supposed to give a shit. I don't know why they put it in this press conference, but whatever.
It was maybe one of the best sandbox games ever made.
Oh, yeah. No,
but it looked phenomenal. It still looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's been out for almost a decade.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're going to have, if they have their way, we are going to have a 10-year anniversary event in Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS5.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. Just make 6.
They're in the process of it.
Maybe that's not... Okay, well, yeah. Then maybe it's, like, not done yet or whatever, but, like...
Then just don't say anything.
Right. That's...
Or remake the Warriors game. That was great.
No one wants that except you and me.
Thank you for adding yourself. I thought you were gonna say nobody wants that except you, and I was gonna be like, oh, okay.
No, I mean it's good. It's just there's a vast minority who is asking for that.
It was an amazing game.
It's definitely yeah.
More than it should have been.
Yeah. It's weird that it came out when it did, and it's weird that it's as good as it did. But they got Rockstar to make a Grand Theft Auto like. They talked about Ghostwire Tokyo, which is the game that Ikumi Nakamura was making, but then she left to go work on God of War, I'm pretty sure. But it's still coming out. It was once again just a cinematic trailer. They showed off Guardians of the Galaxy for some reason. That game is like almost out. It looks incredible, but I don't know why they showed it off again.
Right.
They finally showed gameplay for Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. Or do you remember? I forget what press conference it was, but there was like
Is this the Little Animals one?
No. Little Animals one.
They like turn satanic.
No. So back at E3, there was a trailer, a really long cinematic, definitely no gameplay trailer of people hunting vampires, and there was like a vampire queen, and she was like,
okay.
It was very much like we were complaining about how long it was because it was like there was no gameplay, but. They showed it off. They finally showed gameplay. It actually looks pretty good. I didn't know that this is what Vampire the Masquerade was now. Or maybe it's not. Maybe this is the first time they've done anything like this. It looks really good.
Cool.
If they have the gameplay that I saw in that trailer mixed with the D&D-ass stuff that they had in the old games, I think it's going to be a really unique experience.
Awesome.
They showed off Deathloop, and I really thought that they were announcing DLC for Deathloop. No, Deathloop is not out yet. Deathloop comes out next week, and they just won't shut up about it. It's almost out, so I can almost stop hearing about it. They sort of announced a new Amnesia. It was kind of like a stealth, like, get excited because we're going to announce something soon. This next one I've never heard about, and it looked pretty interesting. And I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, I promise. I apologize.
Spider-Man 2?
No, it's Chia. It's TCHIA. So the game's called Chia.
Okay.
And it is a game inspired by New Caledonia culture. So it looked like an open world Breath of the Wild type game, but this girl that you play as is able to like Mario Odyssey herself into wildlife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It looked pretty interesting. It's definitely an indie game. It's kind of the only indie game that was showcased. I don't know if Forspoken's an indie game. I think that's PlayStation Studios. But it's kind of the only indie game that was focused on in this press event. It looked interesting. It had a unique art style and stuff like that. They announced Uncharted, A Thief's End, and The Lost Legacy are getting remastered. I don't know why they chose these two. I don't know why we're remastering this. There's no reason to, in my opinion, remaster a PS4 game for PS5.
Right.
Like it just happened. I don't know.
Right. No, that makes sense.
So then this is where we get into the real shit that I want to talk about. They showed some words that we all like. They showed PlayStation Studios, Insomniac Games, Marvel. We all know that those are the people who make Spider-Man. So I was like, fuck, is this Miles Morales DLC? There's no way that they're making DLC for that game. And the trailer was very weird. It started, it was like a bar in the middle of the day, and there was two people. There was one person at the bar, and there was one person who was getting up off the floor. He was very drunk, obviously. And then the camera focuses on the guy at the bar, and it focuses on his hand, and then he makes a fist, and then Wolverine's claws come out of his fist.
Oh, have I not seen the trailer for this game?
Maybe not. I don't know. But Insomniac, people who made Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank, are making a Wolverine game.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying this is how the Spider-Man 2 trailer started.
No.
And I was like, no way. That's cool. They're making a Wolverine game?
Yeah. Insomniac has been hinting around about other IPs other than Spider-Man. I remember early on they were like, we want to make a Doctor Strange game, and I've kind of been looking forward to that. But that wasn't an official announcement. But the Wolverine one is an official announcement. So in addition to Spider-Man 2, which we'll talk about here in a moment, they're making a Wolverine game. Very excited for that. That all they showed was his claws detracting, and then the title, which is just Wolverine right now. So I'm really excited about that because Spider-Man is really, really good. They showed car game. They showed Gran Turismo 7 for like way too long. And the fact that they showed Wolverine and then Gran Turismo 7 made me think that there wasn't going to be a Spider-Man trailer. 'Cause
Yeah.
why would there have been?
Right.
No one thought there was going to be, but then there was one. Did you see the trailer?
Yeah.
This one you
yeah.
saw, right? Yeah.
Both of them fighting together.
Yeah. And they're finally doing Venom.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. I don't know why we are announcing it this early, because it said 2023,
Right.
which is like might as well not exist at this point. I thought for a second. So clearly the voice who was talking was that of Kraven the Hunter, and then they're talking to Venom because when Venom talks, they say we and stuff like that. Clearly you're going to be able to play as Peter and Miles in this game. Who knows if it's going to be like Chapter 1, you're Peter, Chapter 2, you're Miles, or if you can pick. I don't know if they're going to do this. I thought this is where the trailer was going, but it clearly didn't. I thought they were going to do Gwen.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse stuff.
I think if Gwen doesn't show up in Spider-Man 2, then I've lost hope that she's going to show up in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Because it's called Spider-Man 2. It's the third Spider-Man game by Insomniac. And it seems like they're adding a new character each time. I don't know.
No, I get that.
Maybe this is how they're doing it. Maybe Gwen will be introduced but not playable, and then there will be a Gwen spin-off game that's just as short as the Miles one or something like that. Because I would be down for that. And then they finally showed footage. I was going to say gameplay, but they haven't even showed any footage of God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So a couple things about God of War Ragnarok. First thing, it looks fucking incredible. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and I can't goddamn wait. And I'm just so happy that we live in a world where God of War is Norse mythology, and it's this incredible game. They showed a few things. They showed off Tyr, which is interesting because Tyr is the Norse god of war, and Kratos is, for all intents and purposes, the Greek god of war.
Right.
So we weren't sure if they were going to do Tyr. We weren't sure if they were trying to say that Kratos was Tyr, but they showed off Tyr. He had both hands, which was interesting. Makes me think that they're going to do the Fenrir thing in this game, but it seems too late to do that because obviously Ragnarok's going to happen in this game. I don't know. It was very interesting to me, but he is 9 feet tall, which I appreciated.
Jesus.
They showed off character designs for a lot of beloved Norse mythology characters. Did you see this? Did you know?
Yeah, I saw the character designs.
Did you see Thor?
Yeah.
Okay. You saw this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want your opinion on Thor.
It's Norse accurate. His hair, his body type.
Yeah.
That's who Thor's supposed to be.
Yeah, Also, he's voiced by Ryan Hurst.
Yeah, which makes a lot more sense why he was at Comic-Con. Because I was like, what is he doing that? Because usually they get people who are like on the cusp of about to do something.
Yeah.
At Comic-Con.
When he started talking in the trailer,
I haven't seen the trailer, but I did see the character designs.
When he started talking in the trailer, I thought it was Josh Brolin. I thought it was the guy who plays Thanos.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not because they've confirmed it's Ryan Hurst. It sounds just like him though. But I think Ryan Hurst is going to do a great job. But I did want to talk about Thor for a bit because Thor and his new body type is kind of blowing up the internet right now. A lot of people, a lot of incorrect Marvel-obsessed people are talking about how Thor should look like Thor does in the Marvel movies, and we hate this new design and stuff like that. And then there's a way bigger majority of people who are like, look at this fucking awesome character design. He looks so cool. Thor is probably going to be the main antagonist of this game.
Oh, interesting.
Based on what happened in the first God of War game. And then there's a even smaller minority of people, and you and me are in this one, where we're like, this is how he looked like in the Poetic Edda. Like, he looks perfect.
Yeah.
This is what Thor is supposed to look like, because Thor is like powerful and indestructible and really cocky, and he like lets the like fame and like indestructibility of his like character, but also his body, like get to his head, and like he sort of like he lets himself go, you know? But even though he lets himself go, because he's Thor, he can still like bring it when he needs to bring it.
Yeah.
This Thor is going to be awesome. He's going to fuck people up. I'm so excited for this game. I already was, but I'm really looking forward to the next God of War. The only thing we didn't get was a release date, which, you know,
It's kind of a big thing.
it's next time we hear about it, we definitely will get one, because right now it's just 2022. I'm hoping for spring 2022. I'm anticipating fall 2022.
Yeah.
But no, it looks absolutely incredible. And you know, it doesn't look like a game in development. Sometimes you see a game and you're like, that looks neat. It'll probably look better when it comes out. This game looks done. It just looks really good. And it's going to look even better, you know, natively playing on my PS5. And that is the Sony event. It ripped so hard. There was so much there that I liked. And I should have streamed it, but I didn't.
That's okay.
So there was that. And now
On to our segment.
Let's make a video game.
Let's make or break a video game.
For reference, the last video game we made was a sandbox game about a dentist appointment, and it was called Tooth Wars.
That's right, 2 4s.
I think I'm going to do it this time. I'm still going to use a random generator, of course, but I think I'm going to do it myself this time.
Tooth or tooth?
Tooth, because it's like turf.
Right.
That was my contribution.
Cool.
So we got this over here. Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. Things are happening. Things are definitely happening. Let's see what we got over here. Ooh, okay. All right. So we got 7 and 9. 7 is puzzle game.
I didn't pick a number?
No, that's what I said. I was going to do it this time.
Why?
I don't know. Let's change it up.
You did half of it last time.
No. Pauline was here.
Oh,
so
that's
Pauline,
what it was.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So 7 was puzzle game, and 9 was a little television show I like to call My Hero Academia.
Oh. Okay.
So allow me to start. Puzzle game means puzzle game is more broad than you think, you know? Just because it's a puzzle game doesn't mean it has to be Tetris or Candy Crush, you know? Portal is a puzzle game technically, you know? So as easy as it would be to just be like, let's make Candy Crush but have it be about Todoroki. Like I think we could but we have to make sure we walk the line of like puzzle and not.
Well, I have an idea. You tell me if you think it fits the category or not.
Okay.
I think the game starts and you're Midoriya, and you've been summoned to a house that it's believed there's a mass killer is in the house.
Okay.
And, you know, you get in there, doors locked behind you, you're trapped in here. And eventually it comes down to each room is it kind of like a Zelda dungeon. There's a bunch of puzzles in each room. You got to figure them all out.
Okay.
And that's most of the game. That's what I have so far.
Okay. I don't hate it. I think we would be missing an opportunity if we didn't incorporate all the characters and their unique powers in some way.
Okay.
Like, like there's a character select screen at some point. But see, I think what I'm envisioning right now is a strategy game like Fire Emblem, and I need to not do that. I need to focus my mind on a puzzle game. I feel like the puzzles, whatever they look like, have to be solvable in multiple different ways.
Okay.
Because like
What if
you might play the level as, Kirishima, but I play the level as fucking tape elbow guy.
Well, what if each level you save a classmate of Class 1A, and now they're added to your roster?
Okay.
You start as Midoriya.
Okay.
And then room 1 is why can't I think of her name?
Uraraka.
Yes.
Yeah.
You save her, and then so on and so forth.
Okay. May I expand on your idea a bit? Here's what I'm thinking. And I know this is kind of an action platformer, so hear me out. But I'm thinking like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I think instead of a house that you get called to, I think it's a castle.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Something with a fuck ton of rooms.
Yeah.
And as far as you're concerned, as far as you can tell, as soon as you get into this castle where the whole game takes place, you can go anywhere. You can't, you find out. But essentially it's like, go in the castle,
Yeah.
And from there, I think that, so the way Castlevania Symphony of the Night works and how all Metroidvanias work is that it's a 2D platformer, right? Which I don't think our game is. I'm thinking 3D third person in our game in my mind.
I'm feeling 3D for sure.
So Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a 2D platformer, and the way it works is you have to get to Dracula, but you need to do a certain number of things before you can get to Dracula, and you have to do them in a specific order, but the game doesn't tell you. So like you need to open this gate, but in order to open this gate, you need the ability to turn into bats, and the ability to turn into bats is a lock behind a boss battle all the way at the other end of the castle, So it's one of those things where it's like, you get this to go here to open up this. So it's one of those games. So I think if we use the characters of My Hero Academia and their individual power sets as those puzzle things, like you always play, I think what I'm envisioning is you're in a castle where I like your setup. There's an evil superhero serial killer.
Yeah.
And he has kidnapped and is going to, if you don't hurry up, kill all of your classmates and maybe some professional heroes just to get a little bit of color in there,
Sure.
And I think you always play as Izuku Midoriya, and the way you find a room, and it's very clear your objective. It's like, this is the room with Tenya Ida in it. You solve the puzzle in that room, and what the puzzles look like doesn't really matter. We don't have to sit here and do that for the sake of our podcast. Maybe it's like a Catherine-style puzzle. Maybe it is literally Tetris. Who knows? But the puzzle that you solve is, Zelda dungeon-esque. After you solve the puzzle, which you will always play as Midoriya, you unlock the character at the end of the room. Now you have Tenya Ida, and what Tenya Ida essentially does is he is like one move. Like, there's a certain type of grate that you can run through now because you have Tenya, because Tenya has super speed. So I think that's where the multiple characters are going to come in. I think you're going to have like all of Class A is trapped in this castle, and they all do something interactive with the environment. So like you get into the castle, and first thing you have access to like 3 rooms, and one of them is Uraraka. And then Uraraka opens up like the whole castle, quote unquote, except it doesn't open up this room because you need Kirishima to open this room that Todoroki is in, but Kirishima's all the way over here. But the core gameplay, other than exploration, is puzzle solving.
I like it. Would it break the game style if there were boss fights and a final boss?
I think I'm glad you said boss fights and not combat, because I think if there was combat like in the hallways, that would break genre.
Yeah.
But I think that Psychonauts is a perfect example. Psychonauts is not a puzzle game; it's a puzzle platformer, like Mario or what have you. But it does have boss fights. So I feel like there is a way to kind of circumnavigate, like, it doesn't have to be press A to punch, you know? It can be like a puzzle game's ass boss fight. And what I mean by that, I'm not really sure. I don't mean like literally take one of the puzzles from one of the other rooms and make it harder. I think I mean like an actual fight, but rather than like hit the glowing weak point, stab him with your sword type stuff, I want like a it's my puzzling versus your puzzling, and you have to beat me. And then once you do, you get the chance to hurt me, but it's in a cutscene, you know?
Yeah.
There's no like the important part is there's no like press X to hurt and then
Right.
and then combat is a thing, you know? I think then we lose the puzzle aspect of it. So I think there could definitely be boss fights. I think if
Okay.
this game didn't have a boss fight, I think it'd be pretty lackluster ending. Even if there's a big long cutscene, I think that there's got to be some sort of like, this is the final challenge, you know?
Yeah, if that's the case, then who's to say this isn't All for One's castle? And this is,
Ooh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know
Okay.
that till the end, but you find that out.
Yeah. And then it could also be alluded to because maybe the students that you're saving, they aren't like chained up or in a cell, they're like in a tube or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to suck their powers away, and then you save them. And you the player, someone who is familiar with My Hero, is like, this is kind of like an All for One thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, because that's interesting because in Metroid and Castlevania, there's no opportunity to mask who the final boss is going to be. You know, in Metroid it's going to be Ridley and Mother Brain, and in Castlevania it's going to be Dracula
Right.
because you're literally playing Dracula's fucking son. But no, My Hero Academia, even if you go just as far as the TV show is concerned, has a long lineup of villains, and I
Right.
think you nailed it. I think the one that aligns the most with I own a creepy castle and I'm kidnapping people is All for One.
Right. Right.
Um.
What's the name?
Yeah, I knew we would get there because it can't just be, you know, it can't just be My Hero Academia the video game. Because there is My Hero Academia video games, and they're also not called that.
My Hero Academia Castle Conundrum.
That is not good. I'm gonna say. I think it's gotta be like, because it is a puzzle game, right? But we're not like we're not advertising it as such. You know, it's not Candy Crush, or else we could call it something like My Hero Academia Puzzle Quest or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Puzzle adventures. So I'm thinking something like, okay, this doesn't really make sense in English, but how about this might be bad, but I'm just gonna say it. How about The Adventures of My Hero Academia? What do you think of that?
There's only one adventure, though, in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was a series, I could get that. And, like, this started a whole series of games. But
I'm thinking something like that. Something that's like My Hero Academia blank, you know?
yeah.
My Hero Academia Murder House.
Well, so that's
My
see,
Hero
that's
Academia
kind
Ghost
of,
Rider.
That's well, okay. No, but Castle Murder or whatever you said, that's kind of where my head's at. Kind of like I want a slight hint of clue aspect in this.
Okay.
Because I think part of the game could be that you're trying to figure out who's summoned you here.
Right.
Who's doing this.
What if we call it Bugs Bunny Presents Izuku Midoriya's Crazy Castle 7?
Write it down.
Brought to you by Woody the Woodpecker.
Yeah, no, write it down.
No, absolutely not. I refuse. Yeah, I think it's got to be something like I don't know. It's got to be something like Star Wars Subsist. You know, it's
Right.
got to be something like My Hero Academia, and then something vague enough to. But it can't be too vague because it couldn't be called like My Hero Academia Vengeance or something like that.
Right.
And and we don't want all for one in the title, or else we could call it something like, MHA all for one or something like that.
My Hero Academia Castle Summons.
That's just you saying the thing that it is.
Well, that's a very Japanese thing to do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are American developers in this scenario.
My Hero Academia. The castle.
What with the castle? The gang visits a castle. That's how It's Always Sunny does it, right?
Yeah.
What about My Hero Academia Secret Hitler? No.
Jesus.
No. Stupid. My Hero Academia Bloodlines. I don't know. Nothing's coming to me. My Hero Academias.
I'm hearing My Hero Academia Hidden Blank.
My Hero Academia Hidden. What about? Yeah. What about this? This does sound like something Japan would do. What about My Hero? And it's very simple. But what about My Hero Academia Hidden Enemy?
Hidden Conquest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. I think I have it. I have an idea. Because this game is probably going to be non-canonical because of the all for oneness of it. What if it's called My Hero Academia Hidden Chapter?
Ooh. All right. I think we have a winner. I was going to say Hidden Quirks, but I like Hidden Chapter better.
It's the problem is My Hero Academia's got a lot of vocabulary that doesn't make for a good title.
Yeah.
Like quirk is such a weird word. And I know it's
a quirky word.
And I know it's an important part of the lore of My Hero Academia, but like putting it in a title doesn't really do much for me.
No, I think you got it. I think that's it.
I'm going to write that down before I forget. My Hero Academia Hidden Chapter. Cool. And that's 9, baby.
Wow.
That's 9 games.
Wow. I'm having fun with this so far.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I like that one a lot. All right. Let's go over some game releases, and then we'll call it a podcast. So we've got 2 dates and 5 games. So September 7th saw the release of Sonic Colors Ultimate. This is a re-release, remaster of Sonic Colors. Normally I wouldn't talk about it, except apparently it's terrible and super glitchy, and everyone hates it, and it's just one of those things where, like, Sonic Colors is one of the good ones. Like, whenever you talk about 3D Sonic games, people are like, oh, yeah, Adventure 2 Battle's pretty good, but Colors is, like, the best one. And, like, they remake it, and it's, like, I guess bad, and it's just, like, a collective sigh of, like, I expected nothing less from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jeez.
September 10th saw the release of Lost in Random, Tales of Arise, WarioWare Get It Together, and Life is Strange True Colors. WarioWare Get It Together is a game I am excited about. I will probably buy it, but I am, I've got other video game stuff going on right now. And if you want to talk about games I'm excited about, I'm very excited about Life is Strange True Colors. I've been very vocal about the fact that I love Life is Strange and absolutely despise Life is Strange 2. This is, for all intents and purposes, the 3rd Life is Strange game, and it looks very interesting. And we might play it on the channel. Might. We'll see. We have, we haven't really... it might not fit the schedule, but who knows? We'll see. Especially since they delayed the remaster of LIS1. But True Colors is out. I have not played it. If I do, I will definitely report back on this podcast. And the next podcast, I will finally get to say the words September 15th saw the release of Deathloop, and then we never have to think or talk about Deathloop ever the fuck again. So that'll do it for us on this video game podcast. Thank you for listening. And in a couple moments, you're gonna hear a outro, that pre-recorded outro that has a bunch of stuff you could go do, other videos on this channel, Twitch channel, all that stuff. And until next time, I've been Thunder.
I'm Lightning.
And we'll see you later. Thank you for listening and watching. And if you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe.
Our channel is daily uploads from podcasts to video essays, let's plays to skits.
Be sure to find us on Twitch and Patreon.
Our theme song is Sunny Day by Froggy and the Friendship, and our Let's Play intro is Sunny Bit by the same band.
Link to all these in the description below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.